Okay, so I took a pair of my girls' old leggings, and these are more like tights, so they're a little bit small on the girls, but just an old pair of pants, and then I cut them about to the length that I wanted the shorts to be. And then I cut the waistband off the shorts and open, and then I cut straight down the inseam of the shorts, and then up the leg or the crotch of them. And then I got out my craft paper that I use for pretty much all of my patterns. And I use a straight edge to get the waistband. And I did do it straight just because it's going to be elastic and it's not going to be that big. And then I made it 4 inches wide so that I could fold it over and have a 1/2 inch hem space on each side. And then I pretty much just traced around these. Now I did cut up the side. Mine didn't have a side seam, but if they do, go ahead and cut that out. I added some space between the two because for one thing, I know these shorts are a little tight on my girls, but also I wanted them to be like kind of wavy. And then I added about a 1/2 inch where I drew from the shorts for my seam allowance and traced around. You can use your French ruler to make sure that the curves are all really nice. And then also, if you notice, when I added some gap between the two sides of the pants, the top is narrower than the bottom so that they flow out more at the bottom than at the top. And then just go ahead and cut that out. And go ahead and cut the waistband out. And then get out whatever fabric you're going to use. I will say that like cotton knits work better, like the t-shirt style, if that makes any sense. But those work best for that like cauliflower edge on the bottom. I don't know what that's called. Is that called a cauliflower ruffle? That's the only thing I can think of. I'll look it up, see what the right name is. But for the ruffles, the t-shirt style cotton jerseys tend to work the best, I've noticed. At least they stay really ruffly even after you wash them. So cut out 2 of the shorts pattern and 2 of the waistbands. Make sure that you have your fabric folded so that it's like wrong sides together or right sides together when you cut the 2 out. Okay, so now we have 2 pieces. And you're going to go ahead and sew that inseam first. So there's that straight inseam on both of those. And then once those are sewn, we're going to sew the crotch. So make sure you line up the fronts and the backs. All I did was put a pin at the top in the front and then a pin where the crotch seam met to make sure that seam lines up really good when I go to sew it. And then another pin at the back center. And then you can actually turn these inside of each other so that it's way easier to sew. And then you just sew the whole crotch. Once that's sewn, turn them right side out again. And if you want, where the front is, you might want to cut that down a little bit, or maybe it's just fine the way it is. But especially if you're making these for like an adult, it'll probably be more comfortable if you cut the front down a little, because the front should be a little shorter than the back. Okay, and then sorry if you can hear my kids squealing in the back. So then for the waist, go ahead and cut some elastic to length. And then fold it together like hot dog, hamburger style, and sew down the edge so that you have a big circle. And then fold that in half. And then sew your elastic into a circle as well. And then you want the elastic to be inside of the folded waistband. And you're gonna put that on top of the shorts, right sides together, but it's a loop. So just all the raw edges at the top. And I like to just put a pin in the front center, the back center, and then one on each side. You can put more pins if you want. I like having at least those 4 though, because it makes sure that everything's nice and even. And then when you sew around that, you want to make sure you pull your fabric and stretch it out. So if you use a serger or a regular stitch machine, open your stitch length to like 4 and then stretch the fabric while you sew it. And then do your little cauliflower edge on the bottom, which means you're gonna like stretch the fabric as much as you possibly can while you hem it. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.